Hey, what is up guys? So, Body Transformation Challenge week 1 done and dusted. Been quite a hectic week. Starting on Monday with all my tests and quite a hectic session on Tuesday. Some good cycling on Wednesday. Another hard session on Thursday. Quite a relaxed session on Friday with some good stretching. And sort of just deloading because I had quite a hard cycling race on Saturday, which was 35 kilometers of quite heavy single track and jeep track through a lot of mud. So it was quite a challenging week. I'm rather tired today. It's Sunday, so I'm taking good rest, and this will be kind of the weekly update. As well as what we're going to do is I'm going to discuss my diet approach, and then we're going to cut to Lonel, who's going to talk about my training program and how we're going to move forward. Okay, so with the diet, kept it very, very simple. I think the training plan and all that is quite a bit more in depth. Just straight from the start, the whole thing is to ensure that I'm in enough of a calorie deficit to lose weight, first of all, and enough of a calorie deficit to get me to my goal of 1 kilogram a week. Now, we will do an entire video on this at a later stage, exactly how to work out your required calories, etc. But roughly I would need to be in about 1,000 calorie a day deficit. That's quite a large deficit. It's actually a bit too much in order to help me lose 1 kilogram a week. Okay, so we have to obviously make sure that the macros are correct to help me perform, to help me recover, especially because I'm in such a big calorie deficit. Okay, so very basic. First of all, my daily calorie requirements, we worked out to be roughly, I would need to eat around 2,600 calories a day, taking into account my activity level, my body weight, my height, all that stuff. Like I said, we will do a full video on how we actually go about doing all that. So we worked out a figure of 2,600 calories. Now, please understand that this is my figure. For some people, especially if you're a smaller individual, you might need to eat far fewer calories than that. You might find that if you're eating 2,600 calories a day, you'll pick up weight. So, very important, first of all. So I'll be eating 2,600 calories a day, or I have been. In that 2,600 calories, 300 grams of that is carbohydrates in a day. So that's 46% of my diet will be out of carbs. 181 grams of protein and 75 grams of fat. Okay, so now a lot of people, especially nowadays with being carb phobic, and we will get into further videos about this, but you'd think, wow, that's a lot of carbohydrates, and it is. It's a little bit more than what I would usually eat, but the reason why I'm going for higher carbs, nearly 50% of my diet to be carbohydrates, is because of the fact that I'm in such a low calorie deficit, or such a large calorie deficit. Okay, so I need to ensure that I have enough energy to, first of all, perform during my workouts, to be able to train properly, and to not feel tired throughout the day. And that's what carbohydrates helps you with. It is essentially your body's energy source. Okay, I will be eating around 300 grams of carbohydrates a day, and obviously I will try and have most of that to be your slow digesting complex carbohydrates. I will have some faster digesting carbohydrates here and there, but it's about the balance at the end of the day. 181 grams of protein, slightly higher than I would usually eat in a day. Okay, I've got that level by taking my weight, my lean body mass, not my complete body mass, and multiplying my lean body mass by 1.6. And I think, if I'm correct, it was close to around 160, 170 odd grams. It was between 160 and 170. I upped that ever so slightly to help me with recovery, especially because I'm going to be in a bit of a deficit. 75 grams of fat, now that's usually about 25% lower than what I would usually eat. I would usually aim for around 100 grams of fat in a day. Obviously your good fats, as little saturated fats as possible. So your fats from things like avocados, your omega fatty acids, as much of that good fat as possible. So like I said, we're looking at 46% of my diet from carbohydrates, 28% from protein, 26% from fat. Now, I'm not completely married to those macros. I don't have to, if I miss one by ever so slightly in a day, it's not the end of the world. The important number is my calories. I have to stay within that. If I go over my 2,600, I'm obviously going to slow my weight loss down, or I might even stop my weight loss completely. So I've got to stick to that 2,600. Obviously, I might even on a day increase my carbohydrates, especially if I've got a race on, like I had this weekend. I actually dropped my protein ever so slightly the day before, and I carbo loaded. I had extra carbohydrates. I obviously needed carbohydrates to fuel. Okay. Today I'm actually upping my protein intake to help me recover from my cycling race yesterday. So you don't have to be 100% married to your macros. The most important figure is that calorie count, and for you to be there and thereabout in the ballpark of the macros that you that you set out to eat. And so that's a very basic look at my diet. I will be doing I will definitely do a video of full day of eating. Follow us on Instagram, Team Genesis SA on Instagram, and I will post regular recipes on there. And you'll see the food that I eat is very, very basic. I like to sort of, I'm good at that. I can stick to almost the same meal for lunch every day. Making slight changes to, let's say that I love my hot sauces. I'll put a different hot sauce here and there. But I keep things very, very simple. And you'll see that I don't deprive myself of certain things as well in my diet. So anyway, we will share. Like I say, we'll have full days of eating. You'll see more of what types of food. But it's a good balance of everything. I don't believe in diets where you overly restrict certain macros. We believe at Team Genesis that every single macro is important, and we'll be doing videos going forward discussing the macros, why you need each one, and the benefits of them at the end of the day. So keep watching for that. We'll definitely be starting that series soon. Okay, so now that I've discussed my diet, we're going to now cross over to Larnell, who will give a breakdown of my training program. He will try and simplify it as best as possible. But the training is a little bit more in depth, and it's aimed to get the most out of me in these coming weeks, and to try and ultimately help me improve on my cycling, as well as lose the weight and get to my goal.
Hi guys, Larnell here from Team Genesis. I just want to talk about the development of Clinton's training program and what we've based all our decisions on when we came to this conclusion. So we've seen that Clinton takes part in cycling, and he does that competitively. So that in itself is something that we need to prioritize, and that is making sure that he becomes better at within his sport, improving on his performances. And then the other goal is also to burn as much body fat off of his body as possible. So we have to find the best possible way to do that. And to narrow down on things, we have different energy pathways for different types of activity. And because cycling falls into the category of endurance exercise, the energy pathway that is required to execute that type of exercise is the oxidative energy pathway. Now there are another two, but that's not relevant to the goal that we are trying to achieve with Clinton. There are points where the other two energy systems are being utilized, but not for the majority of the exercise he needs to endure through. So cycling is an aerobic exercise, and that requires the oxidative pathway. And this pathway increases the body's capacity to transport oxygen into the system to execute the exercise, but at the same time the body's capacity to burn fatty acids as energy is increased. So at this point there is an increased demand from the muscle throughout the body for more fuel, and that fuel is body fat. So with the increase in oxygen coming into the body, there will be an increase in body fat being mobilized for energy to get through the exercise. And this is why we want to be in this energy pathway throughout this journey. So our tests that we've conducted and decided on was the 12-minute cycle test, and this test tests the muscular strength endurance, so how long the muscle can keep up high performance. And on the grid that we use, you are classified as very poor, fair, good and excellent, and then each range is within an age group. So for Clinton, being between 31 and 39 years old, he managed on the bike that we used on level 6 to reach 5.4 kilometers in 12 minutes. And that, according to our grid, is a fair result. So obviously we want those results, when tested, to be in the at least the good range, and beyond into the excellent. So that is to give us an idea of where the muscular strength endurance is at the moment. And then with the muscular endurance test out of the way, we decided to do rep max testing. So we're not going for 1 rep max because we aren't preparing for powerlifting competitions or anything like that, but we do need to get an idea of how much Clinton's muscle is capable of lifting for a set amount of reps. And the target at first is to get 10 reps with a weight, and that 10 reps you have to achieve that and no more. If you are getting more than that 10 reps with that selected weight, then it means that the weight is too light for you to call that a 10 rep max. So we have to make sure that you are maxing out at exactly 10 reps, and this is something we have to do, and we still continue to do with all the strength exercises that we are doing. And these results will give us an idea of how much we need to push within our training sessions. Why that's important is because different rep ranges have a different effect on the muscle. If we are using a low range, a low rep range, let's say for example we do 3 reps of an exercise, that would be 3 reps maximum at one heavy weight. And then at the other end of the scale, if we are going for 20 to 30 reps, that is where the muscle will build more endurance than the strength and power that you can build in a low rep range. And our rep range for our weight training sessions are the 20 to 30 range, and that is to build up aerobic strength endurance within Clinton's muscles. So now that we have our rep range selected and we've done the tests, the training program itself is consisting of 3 strength training days in the gym with weights, and those sessions have 5 main parts to them. The first one is to get a warm-up in between 5 to 10 minutes, and that is to prime and get the body ready to a high intensity session. And this high intensity session will have the resistance part of it, and that is the actual weight training. And then on the different days, since we have 3 days of strength training, we have core stabilization on one day. The other day we involve plyometrics, and then on the 3rd day we do isometric exercises. Now we will share more details on what exactly those types of exercises are, and then the other part to the training session will be high impact cardio, and that is just to get the heart rate up so that we force more oxygen into the system so that the oxidative pathway can give us the optimal benefit of burning more fatty acids and body fat as fuel. So this is an example of how we are doing our training sessions. And then within each session we have 3 training blocks where there are resistance exercises and either the core stabilization or plyometrics or isometric exercises, and some high impact cardio between sets, just to keep the heart rate up so that we force more oxygen into the system. At the end of all our workouts, we try to do a cool down, and that is still an aerobic exercise that we are doing. So Clinton will be on a treadmill or on the ergometers or elliptical trainer, and that will also help in releasing the buildup of lactic acid that occurred during the resistance part of the training session. And that is how we go about our training sessions.
Okay, thank you guys. So that's week 1, that's a wrap. Looking forward to the 19 weeks to go. If you're enjoying this series, guys, please give the videos a like, hit that subscribe button, share with all your friends, get as many people to follow this as possible. And as I always say, hopefully this can inspire you guys to make the change, any change that you need to your health, your fitness. Ultimately you have one life, so making the right decisions doesn't matter. It's never too late ultimately. So thank you guys, hope you guys have a good week. We'll see you soon. Cheers.